There are various things in general that can either make me feel uncomfortable or unhappy. Such things would include tragic events such as those in the news, and horror films which use graphic violence such as 28 Days Later and The Descent. It would be moments like these that would cheer me up, or even make my day when necessary. And of course, moments like these. Yes, I enjoy humour in life, whether it is when I am looking at something funny, or when I do a practice which can make people, well, laugh. Not only I see it as an effective medicine in life, but I also see it as an important practice in culture. It can either reveal another part of an individual's identity, or even help to construct it even further. I like being funny and making people laugh, and it happens to be one of my own personal strengths. In effect, this is what helps me to keep my identity alive and represent it to others, giving an example of what I'm best at doing. I often prefer light-hearted moments in life because it can help in putting myself in a good mood and makes me feel more calm and relaxed. Humour is something that I value hugely. Like I mentioned earlier, it can help to construct the individual's identity as well as revealing the gate-kept sections of it as well. Humour can also have a positive effect on the individual's self-esteem because it is known to reduce stress, anxiety, pain and depression, although culturally it can promote social connections and resilience according to an article on the website This Emotional Life. But what makes us laugh though? According to an article by edesignarticles.com, there are 3 theories as to what we find funny. First, there's the incongruity theory, which was elaborated by German philosopher Immanuel Kant. This theory suggests that laughter is based on the non-matching of what we expect to happen and what really happens, meaning that we anticipate what will happen before the joke is fully delivered. The second theory is the superiority theory, where the laughter is based on someone's mistake or stupidity, thus meaning we feel superior to that person. Finally, there is the relief theory, which was defined by Sigmund Freud. He argues that all laughter results from a release of excessive energy, and that it can allow us to release or get rid of a very stressful thought. Humour can sometimes be done in teams. In other words, there are acts where individuals would cooperate with each other in terms of sharing of their ideas and helping each other out in order to develop their humour and make sure that it is enjoyed by a majority of people. This theory could therefore be applied to various comedic groups, Monty Python being an example. However, teamwork may not always be applicable because this practice can be conducted by single individuals as well, without the assistance of other people. Therefore, being humorous does not always have to be conducted in groups, and it can even allow the individual to have power over the comedic style they want to develop. Here, we have Jimmy Carr as an example.
Are you all familiar with Simon Cowell? Do you know Simon Cowell? Yeah. Simon Cowell spends £500,000 every year on his own personal security. That's an extraordinary amount of money, isn't it? £500,000 a year on personal security. Has Simon not considered being less of a
Goffman's prop theory can also be applicable because they can help to reinforce the communication of his practice. However, being good-humoured is primarily performed verbally as well as non-verbally, and it can sometimes be enough to communicate what is being displayed depending on the context of his practice. However, everyone has their own perspective and taste in humour, and therefore, some of you may not enjoy my particular methods of performing this practice, or even the types of humorous moments that I enjoy. For example, you may like this moment from the In-Betweeners movie, whereas you may not like this moment from the Bond film Octopussy. And vice versa. These perspectives would help to give us a representation of the individual in terms of understanding what suits their expectations and what doesn't, and how comfortable or uncomfortable they feel in conclusion to this. As a result, there are many opposing comedy genres that individuals can abide to, and these genres can give individuals the opportunity for group identification and community value. There have been several times where my family would compare me to either real-life people or fictitious characters in terms of being funny, because some of the things I say can sometimes come out in a mad, bizarre and eccentric fashion, thus prompting some unintentional giggles here and there. I'm often compared to the character of Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory, because apparently there happen to be a few similarities between his personality and mine regarding the way I communicate verbally, thus sometimes prompting a few laughs from my audiences. However, I wondered to myself if I am also quite similar to Cal Pilkington, because, in a similar way to the Sheldon character, I can sometimes say things which turn out to be unintentionally funny, and even perhaps say what would be considered bizarre by my family, or at least say something logical that is somehow delivered in a quirky way. That said, there's a possibility that these examples of funny individuals are role models to me because of those similarities, and since I accept the fact that I'm similar to these people regardless of whether they are from real life or fictitious, it does not affect my self-esteem in any negative way. There was another time where I asked my brother this following question: which Bond actor am I most similar to? And his reply was that I'm similar to Roger Moore in comedic terms.
It's activated by nerve impulses from the wrist muscles.
Like this?
But overall, is it worth to be humorous every day? Is it really that important? I guess it depends on how you view it, really. Because some people like myself view it as something that can have a positive effect on one's self-esteem, and an effective way to brighten up people's moods. Whereas there are other people who would argue that individuals do not need to be funny in order to impress other individuals or represent themselves. But my perspective overall values humour and seeing it as something important because, showing some information from the article entitled "Laughter is the Best Medicine" to reinforce my points, it allows us to bond with other societies and strengthen our relationships with each other. It can also allow us individuals to increase our self-esteem and present more of our identity and personality to the outside world. So where would we be without it? Where would we be if we didn't have amazing people such as John Cleese and Russell Howard, for example? I think I can see myself as a completely different person if I weren't so funny in real life. Someone who may not be as witty and creative as I am right now. That said, I value it hugely, and therefore see it as an important aspect in life.
Very nice.